Hello, Infidel. Hold on just a second. Well, you were quick. Let me just let the stream kind of catch up here. There we go. All right. I can put in my announcements. Oops. That's not what to do. All right, there we go. Hello, Kev. Runway 5 right and runway 3 right are our choices for today. Apparently, my little nav map is not showing on stream. I don't think anything is showing for some reason. I don't know what happened, but anyway. Morning, everybody. Welcome to today's Microsoft Flight Simulator live stream. I'm your host, pilot, lead singer, driver of the airplane, Uncle B. Today, 737-800 Copa Airlines service from Mexico City to Panama City, Tocumen International Airport, departing from Benito Juárez International. Flight time is going to be maybe about 3 hours, probably less, give or take-ish. So if you can't do the full flight, it's up to you to double check where you're going to possibly land at. Real quick, Mella's going to be joining us today. So Mella, if you're here, under your traffic, I think it's traffic. Yeah, you got to show, or no, it's data. It works. There you go. It worked. Okay, so Amela, once again, hopefully Amela is going to be here. He said he was going to come in and fly with us today. It works. Yes, it does. It does. So Amela, if you're here, let me know that you're here. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. And I can actually hear that. Let me make sure my whatchamacallit is also no sound coming out of my laptop, so it doesn't echo through the microphone. All right, so make sure all your well, let me make sure Mel is here. Once Mel says hello in chat, then we can proceed. Mel is going to pull a Kev, going to start right from the departure runway. I did see Infidel was already here earlier. Okay, Mela. So here's what you need. I'm like getting ready to point at the screen like you can see me. All this needs to be on. Online functionality, Bing World data graphics, photogrammetry. Basically, your online functionality and your multiplayer. Okay, those need to be on. And then I think for traffic, show traffic nameplates needs to be on. Okay, but the multiplayer needs to be on. Okay, for sure. And then you just need to be on the West USA server. I'm going to double check. I know we're on West USA. Yep. I'm not sure what your screen name is. Kev, are you coming in? If if I can find you, I can send you a friend request. Is that timing tester 867? Is that you? Or is that somebody else? Okay. Oh, you're already on my friends list. Okay. All right. We're good. All right. Kev's coming in. All right. Let me, I'm going to go ahead and then get ready for pushback and startup. So I will be handling that here in just a second. Ground Copa 135, request pushback and startup.
Copa 135, pushback and startup approved. Face southwest.
Pushback and startup approved, facing southwest, Copa 135. Hello, Mick. Oh, come on. We're going to get a pushback tug? No, apparently not. Okay. That's all right. We can handle it.
Mexico ground Copa 135 requesting pushback.
Copa 135, pushback request accepted.
Okay. Give me just a second. Oh, under, hold on. Yeah. Okay, hold on. Under where your name is, go to online, make sure that status is online, and then server West USA. When you pause, make sure it shows your online status and West USA server. All players off live. Yes, that too. That's under. Yes. Wait, where is that at? I can't. It's been so long since I had to change it. Yeah. See, it's been so long since I changed it. Under flight conditions, yeah. It's like at the very start, before you start your flight. Okay, I got it. I'm sorry, I gotta get my plane started up. Otherwise, I'm not going to be going anywhere.
Cabin crew, all doors in flight and cross-check. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard Copa Flight 135, departing from Mexico City and heading to Tocumen. We're thrilled to have you with us today. Our captain is Robert and our first officer is Sandra. Joining me in the cabin are my wonderful colleagues Javier, Anna and Luis. We expect a flight time of approximately 3 hours and 10 minutes. Now, let's go over some important safety information. First, to fasten your seatbelt, insert the metal tip into the buckle until you hear a click. To release it, simply lift the buckle. Please keep your seatbelt fastened whenever you are seated, as we may experience turbulence. In the unlikely event of a loss of cabin pressure, oxygen masks drop down from the compartment above you. To use the mask, pull it towards you to start the flow of oxygen, place it over your nose and mouth, and secure it with the elastic band. Remember to put your mask on first before assisting others. We also have life vests located under the seats. In the event of an emergency landing on water, remove the vest from its container, place it over your head, and pull the strap quick. Inflate the vest by using the red cap by blowing into the tube. Please note that in the event of evacuation, luggage must remain. As for our emergency exits, there are two.
Oh. Thank you very much, Caroline. Appreciate it.
You're very welcome, Captain. Always here to help.
All right. Alrighty, let's go to 3-5 right. Or 5 right. Ground Copa 135 request taxi IFR to Tocumen.
I'll have your clearance in just a second. Copa 135, taxi to runway 5 right via Alpha Bravo 1 Charlie.
Taxi to runway 5 right via Alpha Bravo 1 Charlie. Copa 135. Alright, I'm not sure which way that is, but we're just going to go this way. All right, Amelik. Okay, I see you. Kev, are you coming? Where are you at? All right, got a Mellow there. Infidel's right there. Kev's way down on the other end. On the wrong runway, as usual. 5 right, Kev. 5 right. Where Amela is. Timing tester. You can take 5 left as well. Turn the map the other way around, Kev. I'm in a parking spot. Oh, okay. It looks like you're on the runway. Mela, if you're ready to go, you're more than welcome to take off. Okay, no worries. Kev's still starting up his Embraer 300 or whatever it is. His fancy business jet.
Everybody on? Good. Great. Grand. Wonderful. No yelling on the bus!
Okay, go ahead, Amela. You're good to go. Let's get on out of here. Tower Copa 135, holding short, one-way 05 right. Request clearance for departure, IFR.
Copa 135, runway 5 right. Winds 050 at 5, clear for takeoff. All
Roger, Oscar is now current, QNH 1030, cleared for departure, Copa 135. All right, Kev's on the move. This is a real-world service from Copa Airlines to Panama City. Found this kind of a dirty livery, well-used plane on flightsim.to. Here comes Kev. Infidel is right behind me. I can hear his business jet. All right, we are all set. Cabin crew, take seats for departure.
Cabin crew, take seats for departure.
Okay. Almost forgot my handy dandy HUD. 80 knots. Check. Oh, I didn't put my takeoff speeds in, did I? Nope, I did not.
positive rate of climb.
You're coming up. Steep climb out.
Copa 135. Contact departure on 119.75.
Departure on 119.75, Copa 135. Departure Copa 135, climbing 110,000 feet.
Copa 135, Mexico departure, radar contact, climb via the SID to flight level 290.
Climb via the SID to flight level 290, Copa 135. Good day. There you go. Didn't that get your blood flowing there, Nick? All right, going to 29er. Cruising today at 370. Flaps are all up. And there we go. We are on our way. Now, let's see if Sandra's...
We are now above the safe altitude, and you are welcome to use your electronic devices. Please ensure they are in airplane mode. Also, I'm pleased to inform you that our onboard Wi-Fi service is now available. Enjoy your flight with us on Copa Flight 135. And if you have any questions or need assistance, feel free to ask any of our crew members, including my colleagues, Javier, Anna, and Luis. Thank you.
Good morning, Sandra. How are you?
Good morning, Robert. I'm doing well, thanks. How about you?
I'm doing good, thank you. Would you mind handling the radios for our flight for a while?
Sure, Robert. I'll handle the radios for our flight.
Thank you, Sandra. Appreciate it.
You're welcome, Robert. Let me know if you need anything else.
And there we go. Sandra's now handling the radios. Thank goodness we finally got her to do something. Let's see. Let's go outside here. There's Infidel. There's Timing Tester. There's Kev. Well, she's the quote-unquote professional. That's the professional sounding co-pilot. Good morning, Pulse. How are you? Or good afternoon for you. Good morning for me. How are you? Good to see you here. She sounds like there's an actress that sounds exactly like that voice, and I can't remember the name. She was on the show, what's it called? Afterlife. Sounds just like her. All right, we're gonna head out to Veracruz. That's part of our flight plan, although you can't see it. Let's look at our departure route, because I do believe I have it. There it is. All right, so we are... Once we leave here, so we're still on our way, we gotta cross this.
Copa 135, contact Mexico Control on 128.5.
All right, let's see what she does.
Switching to Mexico Control on 128.5, Copa 135.
Yeah, she does sound a bit overly British.
Mexico Control, Copa 135, good morning. Passing 17,000 on the climb.
Copa 135, Mexico Control, identified. Good morning, QNH 1020.
All right, so let's get a couple things set up there. There we go. So yeah, our route's going to take us out over. We're going to go to the coast of Veracruz eventually, and then we'll turn and then head south through Central America. All right, so yeah, what it was, so Sandra doesn't handle VFR flying. So like Tuesday, I did a flight from our destination today to an airport in Costa Rica. So I had to handle all the radios myself. She's not capable of doing IFR or VFR flying, which is okay. So I had to learn that. In order for me to get clearance, I have to make sure stuff is set up correctly. Like when I put in my flight plan, it recognizes it once I call clearance delivery to say we're ready to go. You know, we want to go to, you know, wherever via the flight plan that we filed. So that all is starting to work. So it was just a matter of getting, you know, understanding how the system works and all that. So, but it's finally working. The blurb, I didn't realize I had to add that into my on my Streamlabs. I had to add it in as a thing so I can hear it whenever you guys do the who yeah. Like I heard it in my headphones. And so you can try the other ones. Don't just get stuck on that one. There's like 4 or 5 other ones in there that you can use. I figured that one would be popular, especially with Mick, since he likes the heavy metal. So I thought that would be a kick for him. Give him a little wake me up. All right, there's Amela, there's Kev, and there's Infidel. We got 3 other pilots flying with us today. Now the other thing we need to do, Amela, we need to get you into Parasox Airlines. So this would, we would have 4 Parasox pilots today in the air. We got 3. She sounds Egyptian. No, she doesn't. No. So it's interesting though that the cabin crew has a they have Hispanic sounding names, Javier, Maria, and one other one. Watch, let's see what Caroline says. Caroline, would you tell our guests who's working with you today, please?
Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce you to our fantastic cabin crew working with me today. We have Javier, Anna, and Luis here to ensure you have a comfortable flight.
Javier, Anna, and
If you need
Luis.
anything, please don't hesitate to ask any of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Caroline. That was very professional. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Captain. I'm here to help and ensure everything goes smoothly.
Now we're going to have a bit of fun with Caroline. Watch this. Caroline, we have a passenger on board from New York. Goes by the name Kevin. Apparently he has a strong allergic reaction to coffee. Please make sure you don't serve him any on the flight today. Let's see what she says.
Understood, Captain. I will ensure that Kevin does not receive any coffee.
Thank you. We just don't want to make sure. We want to make sure we don't have like a medical emergency or anything.
Understood, Captain.
Hello, Joseph.
I'll keep an eye on Kevin and ensure he doesn't receive any coffee. We'll monitor the situation closely to avoid any medical emergencies.
Oh my God, that's too good. Oh. Oh. Oh boy. How you doing, Joseph? You doing all right? Caroline, by chance, do you have any jokes that you could tell the passengers while we're climbing?
Oh, Captain, I don't have any jokes on hand right now, but I can certainly think of something light-hearted to share with the passengers. Just let me know when you'd like me to do that.
That would be fantastic if you could share it right now, please.
Absolutely, Captain. I'll right away.
Oh, here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your flight attendant, Caroline, speaking. We are currently climbing to our cruising altitude of 35,000 feet. I just wanted to take a moment to remind you of some important safety information. Please ensure your seatbelts are fastened and remain seated whenever possible. In the unlikely event of a loss of cabin pressure, oxygen masks will drop down from the...
Oh, that's not lighthearted.
Pull the mask towards you, place it over your nose and mouth, and secure it with the elastic band. Remember to put your mask on first before assisting others. We also have life vests located under your seats, which can be used in the event of an emergency landing on water. Thank you for your attention, and we hope you enjoy your flight with us today.
Yeah, that wasn't lighthearted at all. No. So the joke part, they don't have any way of... Now, that's because Caroline's a professional flight attendant. If we had a funny person as a flight attendant, it might be different. And maybe next Saturday. Oh, let's talk about next Saturday. Next Saturday, DC-3 service going from Volana International to GAN International. We're going to the Maldives. Hold on, Joseph. So, yep, a professional pixelated flight attendant. So I think for the flight to in the Maldives, I can change it to a different. For that flight, we'll change it to a funny flight attendant. Like they have Cartman as a flight. They even have Two-Tone Murphy is one of the voices in this. So we can have all kinds of fun with that. So we might try Cartman or whatever just for fun. Yeah, they do have Cartman and they have Two-Tone Murphy as voices in Say Intentions. Yep. All right, we should be getting ready to climb to our cruising altitude here in a minute, I would think. Well, it might be. We might have to wait till we get past. Oh, we are. Wait, are we? Yeah, we already have passed it. So there should be. Let's see. Mellow. Everybody's way over yonder. Kev's there. Mellow's way over there. Infidel's right there. I'm guessing that Mellow's doing okay at cruising altitude. For his flight.
Copa 135, climb flight level 350.
Climbing to flight level 350, Copa 135.
There we go. I know we're clear to 37. Believe so. All right, so we can get rid of that. We don't need that now. We can go to there. So we're on our way to Veracruz. Infidel's going to flight level 410. Oh, look at you guys going up, getting up even higher. Kev says, I'll patch that challenge. I don't know how he's going to do it since he can't have any coffee. The accent. So this is Say Intentions. It's an AI-driven system. So you have voices for your airport. So where it depends on your region, they have So for the let me back it up. So the free version, I think it's just a standard voice, and you don't get any like voices for your flight crew, like your first officer or your flight attendant. But you have somebody that you can talk to, but it'd be kind of like bland. So with the premium version, which is I pay about $20 a month for the service. I picked that because, yes, Kev. Panama, not padded bra, Panama. So with the premium, you get regional voices, so they're supposed to sound similar to what you would expect. You know, like a European, like if I'm flying in Europe, you would expect a European controller or European sounding controller. Or, if I'm departing from Heathrow, for instance, I would expect a British sounding crew to be talking to me, for departure and stuff like that. So, so you can choose, there's a list that you can choose which person, like you have professional and funny. Actually, even the guy who's the CEO, the head of Say Intentions is also a voice on there. Kind of like Mr. Randazzo is a voice on here for, when we're taking off, airspeed's alive, 80 knots, V1. See, I didn't put my V1 speed in, so he didn't call it out. So I was like, wait a minute. That's okay. We got it in the air anyway. I forgot something. So it's just a fun thing to use. But there's very strict guidelines. You cannot say anything appropriate to the AI. You cannot, anything sexual, for instance, whatever, stuff like that. You can't swear at them. It is monitored. So anytime, no, I've not used VATSIM. Somebody asked me about it at Flight Sim Expo, and I said, I've heard too many bad things about it. A lot of people struggle. The controllers, English, I'm not trying to dig on anybody, but English is not their first language, so it's a problem where the people can't understand each other, and so both sides get frustrated. So it's not. I steer clear of VATSIM. I like this because I can have Sandra, my co-pilot, she can handle the radios while I talk to you guys. I'm not trying to work the radios the entire time. I can focus on talking with you guys once we're in the air, for instance. So, but no, I've heard terrible things about VAT. A lot of people do not like VATSIM because of there's a language barrier. And it's just a lot of people get frustrated because neither side can understand one another. But I listened to Say Intentions presentations, kind of went around their booth at Flight Sim Expo, was pretty impressed with what they're doing, and so I thought it would be a fun thing to add in because, like Caroline, we could have that joke about Kev not being able to serve coffee, right? So we can have a little bit of fun with it, but it's not what do you call it? So like there's the setting I'm on as student pilot. So there's a lot of things that I can forget that it won't ding me for it. Okay. So that's another bonus, is that I don't have to what do you call it? I don't have to all right, I think we're going to level off at 350 here. I thought we were going to go to 37. But no, I wanted something to have fun with. Like when I did the flight from Tocumen to an airport there in Costa Rica, it wasn't bad. I handled the radios on my own. It wasn't a big deal. The only thing you have to be aware of if you're using it is you're gonna have to probably do your input your squawk code yourself. You know, that's where I was setting all this up this morning, so I have my landing information's all there, my ILS frequencies there. We can change our cruise altitude to 35. I think that's where we're going to level off and stay at. So, you know, I got the charts already pulled up. So our star looks like this. Oops. There. So that's what our arrival's going to look like.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have now reached our cruising altitude on Copa Flight 135, flying from Mexico City.
And then our approach.
We're excited to let you know that we will be starting our snack and drink service shortly. Today, we have some delightful options available, including our delicious chicken salad and a lovely fruit platter. After
Chicken salad.
We'll also be offering items from the Copa shop, so keep an eye out for that. If you have any
the
questions
Copa
or
shop.
need assistance, please don't hesitate to ask any of our crew members, including my wonderful colleagues, Javier, Anna, and Luis. Thank you.
Chicken salad and a fruit platter. Ooh, that sounds fancy. Autopilot keeps disconnecting for some reason. That's just that dodgy A320. I think Kev's had that same problem, Ella. There's a note area where you can put you're a noob and VAT sim in for the most part. Oh, okay. Oops. Put that in again, Kev. I actually hit the not. Sorry, I hit the wrong button. Copy and paste, Kev. Caroline, would you mind bringing a passenger named Joseph some coffee? He's really wanting some. Appreciate it.
Of course, Captain. I'll bring some coffee to Joseph right away.
There you go, Joseph. You got your coffee. Okay, so there's a way you can ask them. They can be a bit more forgiving, I guess, with their communication. I don't know. The people that I watched use it, it didn't seem like it was
Tower, this is Ghost Rider requesting a flyby.
Negative, Ghost Rider. The pattern is full.
That's
Copa
right.
135, contact Mexico Control on 124.0.
Contacting Mexico Control on 124.0.
How about new?
Mexico Control, Copa 135, morning, maintaining flight level 350.
Copa 135, Mexico Control, identified. Saludos.
Ooh, saludos. See, but Kev has an allergy to coffee. Now we're going to have a medical emergency, Joseph, thanks to you.
Your mother was a hamster, and your father smelt of elderberries.
That's right. See, it works. I can hear it. And you guys can hear it. So it all works. Joseph's going to go crazy with the sounds now. He's got channel points to spend. Don't spend them all in one place, Joseph. Space them out. All right. Let's go outside here and have a look. There's Kev. There's Infidel. Mela must be way over the horizon because we can't see a Mela now. We should be turning. Oh, we did turn. Okay, so we're coming back inland. We're going to go inland. So we're going to fly a vast majority of the Central America down to Panama. not padded bra, Panama. So yeah, I got this livery off of flightsim.to for today's flight. Kind of a used, you could definitely see the, you see the, matter of fact, here, hold on a second. Let's do this. I like the detail on the tail. Like, look, all the, like, the streaks, like, it's dirty. It's used. Look at all that. That's pretty cool. So it's not like a fresh out of the factory. Well, he stowed away, Mick. He didn't want to let anybody know he was there until we were on our way. So yeah, you could see like all where the jetway on the side there, it's all kind of imprinted on the side of the plane. That looks pretty cool. Would have had an ambulance waiting for you if I didn't get my coffee. Oh, so you're threatening the pilot? Okay. We'll let Panamanian authorities know about that. They can deal with you accordingly. So yeah, this is a pretty cool livery, I think. It does have kind of the look of the old Continental livery with the meatball there. But yeah, I like this. It's like a worn out, kind of well used plane. I like that. 0.825. I'm definitely slower than that, I believe. I'm at, I don't know, I have to let me get a picture here.
Oh, Captain, just popped in to see if you and First Officer Sandra would like anything to drink or a small snack. No cookie in the cup this time, promise.
No cookie in the cup? Oh. Yeah, the chicken salad sounded really good, and sparkling water for both of us, please. Look at that, Mike.
Absolutely, Captain. I'll bring the chicken salad and sparkling water for both you and First Officer Sandra right away.
Ooh. Yeah, like it looks like you would expect a plane that has been in service for some time to look. I really like that part of it. It's not just a fresh, clean paint job. It's like a plane that has been, used, flown pretty extensively. So yeah, like you could see the marks around here. The marks, there's some marks there. Probably there should be marks back here for the service at the back of the plane. Yeah, I think it's just it looks really good. I like it. Pretty pleased with this livery. And it didn't cost me anything. You just had coffee, although you gave that away. You've been a bad boy, Joseph. No water for you. You're just gonna have to suffer. You have to drink the dodgy water out of the loo. That little sink that you push and you're trying to wash your hands, and you don't feel like you could ever. But yeah, I forget who I got this from on flightsim.to, but I think it's a fantastic job to make it look like a used, plane. It's not just all brand new. Like, it's kind of gritty around. Like, even look at that, the engine nacelles, the outside looks discolored. You got a bit of oil there, dirt, whatever. Yeah, there's oil. That's the oil access. Flight 460. Dang. Are you gonna go for 51,000? Might as well. Get all the way up there. So yeah, it looks really good. Like it looks like you would expect, the plane to look from use. So yeah, whoever did this did a phenomenal job, I think. Just kind of discoloring all this area right around here, right? it looks or was. He might have gone a little too far. Is that what you're saying? Might have overdone it. Yeah, this is pretty cool. I like this. That's one of the great things. You know, on PC you can get liveries like this from flightsim.to. You know, and you can donate to the who makes this stuff. You can send them a few bucks or whatever for their work. A lot of them do this stuff for free, and they don't get anything out of it other than, you know, people leaving a thumbs up or saying, hey, I really like this or whatever, but they don't get paid for their work, you know, unless people donate. So we left Kevin in the dust. He's gone. Miller's gone. Miller, are you still flying? Or did you crash it? So, yeah, this is reset. Oh, so we got to go. Oh, I can't reset. Cruise. Oh, here we go. 3, 5. Let's see if it'll. Okay, there we go. So we should have about 7,000 pounds of fuel. If he's getting the AP off warning, it's a button on the stick he is to hit. Okay. All right, so we redid that. I don't know. I don't know if Amilla's still flying or not. Might have given up. Yeah, I've not flown the stock A320 in years. Mainly because it just felt like it was. There were some issues with it. I'm still in the air, okay. I just start shouting at it. Always gives me issues. There we go. Mella's still in the air.
Copa 135, contact Merida Control on 128.3.
Switching to Merida Control on 128.3, Copa 135.
Copa 135.
Merida Control, Copa 135, morning, maintaining flight level 350.
Copa 135, Merida Control identified. Good morning.
All right. Diane Morgan's the name of the actress I'm thinking of. She played Philomena Kunk on the review program Charlie Brooker's Weekly Wipe. Yeah, that's who she sounds like. Diane Morgan. I finally figured it out. No, she can't land the plane. Is there any airports nearby where you are that I can back out and back in? Oh, you mean like land and then take back off? Well, let's see. I think you are way... Alright, that's... I think you're near... I can't click on it. That's me. I'm not sure where you are, Milla. There's airports near you. MWWB. Yeah, that I'm not sure. If you open up your little, if you click V on your keyboard, that'll bring up a little nav map. MMTG. A380, okay. Ooh. I don't know. I don't think, and I'm just kind of guessing here, I don't think our destination can handle an A380, but you're more than welcome to try. Yeah, MMTG, you could always shoot for that. You guys are on the pretty much on the opposite side, or you're farther inland than I am, it looks like. Yeah, MMTG is like right there. So I don't see you on the little nav map, Noah. That's like the straight route. All right, so we have, you guys can't see this, I don't know why. Okay. So we have a long 229 or 220 nautical mile to our next nav point, and then a whopping 554 nautical miles, and then it's all, next biggest one will be 125, and then we'll be getting ready to land at that point pretty soon. Not pretty soon, but eventually. So just a slight turn. Keep an eye out for you, Mella. Well, thank you all for coming in and hanging out today. Hopefully you like it so far. And thank you, Infidel, Kev, and Amilla. Amilla's joining us for the first time. Flying to Tocumen International in Panama City. Yeah, that's the problem with that plane, Amilla, that I found. That's why I switched to the 737s. It works one day, and then the next time you fly it, you're just like, what the heck? Why isn't this working as I expect it to? You know, sometimes it is a bug. The big boom you heard was the release of the last night's Taco Bell. Yes, I was thinking the same thing, Infidel. We'll get Amella into a pair of socks. I think I have a there we go. So Milla, if you go to that link that I just posted, it takes you to FS Hub. It doesn't cost you anything to sign up for an account. And then under airlines, you search for and you send a request. Scruffy, I think, will approve you, or Infidel can. Somebody can, and you can fly for our airline. You don't have to fly whatever you fly. It doesn't matter. You can fly any plane you want. as a Parasox pilot. You can do all jetliners. You can do general aviation. You can do a mixture. It's entirely up to you what you want to fly. But that gives you access to all of our company routes. And it gives you access to the FS Hub, the 3 daily flights. You have a short, medium, and long flight. Tuesdays, B, Kev, and Infidel usually fly something from FS Hub. Not the Dark Star. Yeah, you can't fly the Dark Star, but on average, you can fly just about anything and get credit for it. So you'll accumulate your hours. There's you get your little your landing rate monitor. There's a couple things that you're gonna have to install, but once you get in, if you get into Scruffy's Discord, it'll tell you what you need to install on your computer to get so that, like, the landing rate, you have to have that on in order for the flight to count. It's all automated on PC. When you land, it'll give you landing rate, your landing rate, and then your flight is complete. So it's a great thing, like if you're just like, I want to fly, but I don't really know what to do, that's a good way. We have tons of company routes. We got regional stuff, we got long haul stuff, but you can do the daily shorts, for fun, and then whenever I fly on Saturdays, you can fly with us, and that counts. The more people that fly together, like there's 3 of us Parasox. So if you were already in, there'd be 4. This is worth 1,000 socks. Because it's over 1,000 nautical miles. You're capped at your sock limit. 1,000 is, I think, the highest you can get. Unless it's a company route, then you get like more. Good morning, Debbie. How are you? Nice to see you. The sun's up. That's what's up. Nice to see you. Hopefully you're doing well. Did your Astros win last night? Uh-oh, that bad, huh? Okay. I won't say anything else then. I used to follow baseball extensively, but I don't anymore, so I don't know who wins, who loses, really. It starts to pick up towards the end of the season, and that's when everything gets exciting. Kind of like college basketball, nobody cares. Yeah, I told my flight attendant, Debbie, that Kev has an allergic reaction to coffee, and to make sure that he doesn't get any, because we don't want to have a medical emergency. So another viewer, Joseph, ordered coffee, and Kev swiped it from him. He's been a bad boy. I gave Caroline explicit instructions not to let Kev have coffee. Well, good to see you, Debbie. Thanks for being here. Joseph is the man. Now you're gonna inflate his ego a little bit there, Kev. He might start crying now. He's gonna tear up. He's going to have to excuse himself to the back of the plane until he can get himself under control. Cubs are second. I just got up. I haven't had my chocolate milk either. Uh-oh. Chocolate milk. I can't remember the last time I had chocolate milk. Cubs are in second. Where's your Mets at? That's a good question. Get any rain last night? Oh, Debbie. I don't know. We definitely got some yesterday afternoon. I have no idea where your Mets are at, Kev. In New York somewhere? Mets are second. In New York. In the dumpster where they belong. I remember watching the Mets for years when, what's his name? He ended up playing for the Dodgers, the catcher. I think he played for the Mets. I don't know if that was before the Dodgers or after the Dodgers. I can't remember his name now. Mike Piazza. Yeah, I think he was probably one of their best catchers in recent memory. Piazza, yep. Dog needs out. All right, we'll be here. We got a ways to go still. Pizza. Yeah, I remember Mike Piazza. Didn't they also have, wasn't Darryl Strawberry one of their players too? Darryl Strawberry, Dwight Gooden, I think. Yeah. Back when some of those players were stoned out of their minds playing baseball. Make sure you land. Oh, we got a whiles to go. We're not anywhere close to landing. We're still a ways out. Oh, wait. Is that? Oh yeah. He went way low. Infidel, you're like losing. Oh, now he's climbing. I think he may have hit the button that sent him. Well, that's interesting. On no infidel going down. Yep. I think he hit the, he must have hit a button on the way out the door. He might have caught it in time. No, maybe he crashed. It's showing him at 1,900. He might have landed at an airport. I don't know. I don't see Amela in the A380. Well, drop him some supplies, Kev. You do? Okay. You might be closer to Amela than I am. But not on, yeah. Blame it on the dog, not the pins. He's in front of me. Okay. It must be just out of view for me then. Blame it on both. The pins and the dog. He might have managed to save it before he went outside with the dog. So yeah, next Saturday, DC3. We'll be in the Maldives. Should be a nice flight. Oh, lordy, Kev. I think Debbie just rolled her eyes and was just like, oh, okay. She got skills. I wouldn't know. Let's see what else. So DC3, and then the following Saturday we should be doing the long haul across the pond in the 777-300 ER, JFK to Heathrow. But we're going to use the time compression doohickey. Skills that kill. Okay. And then 6 September, we have a Avro RJ service from Cape Town to Windhoek in South Africa. 20th of September. Wait. 20th of September is going to be a 737-800 service from Miami to Beaufort. Oh Lord. And let's see, that's 27 September will be 737-700 service from Leipzig to Vilnius. That's going to be a freighter service. Oh, I see it. Yep. And then we'll get into August. Oh wait, we already did that one. September 20th, 27. We have 20. So there won't be one on the third, on the, yeah, we saw something happen in Fidel. So there won't be a flight on the 13th. I'm going to take that Saturday off after my procedure earlier that week, just to make sure I'm well enough to do stuff. And then we have October. Yep. So it was quick, no pain. So yeah, it's going to be, we just kind of move some stuff around, and then it'll be October before you know it, and we'll be getting ready to do the flights taking me to California for my visit with my family, and then I will be, yeah, you just like it went crazy. Like you went down very quickly. I thought maybe you caught it before you went out the door. You were able to act deposit. Oh, let's see what else. So yeah, then when I get back, we'll do the flight. We're going to do Miami to Nation's Capital for Veterans Day, even though it'll be after the fact, because I will be traveling on the 12th, coming back this way. So we'll try to get that flight. Yep, see ya, Mello. And then I got to come up with some other stuff for rest of November. I know most people will, will pretty soon we'll be getting into Thanksgiving, all the holidays and whatnot. So, let me get back inside the flight deck. Oh yeah, I gotta close my. Caroline, I've turned off the fasten seatbelt sign so the passengers can move around the cabin right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Captain. I'll let the passengers know they can move around the cabin now.
All right, let's look at our little doohickey down here, our flight computer. All right, so we're at 350, so we got this whopping 553 nautical mile leg coming up, and then here, and then here. So at some point between Anson and Arovi, we should start descending. You delete that. When did you do a 17 or an 1800 plus landing, Kev? If you don't mind sharing. When did that shenanigans happen? Now the cool thing will be, we should get a no treats for the dog for the rest of the day. Yeah, I think the dog purposely acted up to cause that fiasco. So the cool thing is, oh, that's right, you were talking about it last night on your stream. I don't know how you manage that one, Kev, but you always find a way. So the cool thing is, when we get close, I'm going to take over the radio from Sandra, and then they're going to notify me and say you're about 20 minutes out from your top of descent. Do you want to go ahead and start your descent now, or do you want to wait until you're closer? It gives you that option. That's the cool thing. Like Tuesday when I flew with Infidel and Kev and we did a flight, I was in the same plane that Infidel's in, and I put a flight plan together real quick, and it gives you that option of when do you want to start your descent. you know, sort of thing. So that's going to be the cool part. So I'll take over the radio and handle that all the way the rest of the way in. Give Sandra a break. She's done a terrific job today. I'm being sarcastic, of course. So yeah, there's cool features. You don't have to, you can wait till your actual top of descent and then begin your descent into your you know, doing all of the arrival portion of your flight. But this gives you an option to go ahead earlier. Now the trick will be, it may clear me all the way to our final approach altitude of 1,700 feet, but we don't want to get there too quickly, so we might manage that with the vertical speed. So that way, we may just start with 1,000 feet per minute, and then as we get a little bit closer, if we need to start dropping it and go quicker, then we can. Now the interesting thing was, let me go back here to our departure earlier today. Well, that's from that was all the way to Veracruz. So we're almost in Guatemala. Yep. All right, so our departure here. One of the cool things I was looking at this morning. So if you look at this little bit of information here, let me zoom in just a bit. So we did the Aledo 3 Alpha, Noxos 3 Alpha, and Ucuno 3 Alpha, 3.9%. So you're going to climb at 3.9, almost 4% to 10,000, and then you're going to go even a bit more of a climb, ascent, not descent. You're going to climb at 4.5% up to 18,000 feet for operational reasons. So they want you to clear these mountains and all that. My AC. What are you talking about my AC? What do you mean your AC? So this is the departure route that we took earlier. I don't know what you're talking about AC for. So it gives you, look at this. I'm looking at this right here, Kev. This information. Oh Lord. But it tells you, like, expect a steeper climb out of the airport. That's what I was talking about. That's the cool thing. He's rolling his eyes, I can tell. He's like, oh God. It's bad enough he's got the fancy HUD here in his flight, in his plane. Now he's talking about, ooh, look at my charts. I know what you're like, Kev. So, well, Kev, while we're at it, let's talk about today's flight later on, if you are flying. We have 53 nautical miles. That's the short. Our medium is, we're up in Alaska. $251 nautical miles. Okay, Mella, that's fine. Do what you got to do. So I'm guessing you want to do Alaska, or do you want to do the short flight? We might as well get them to agree on something now instead of later. The flights today. Short flight is 53 nautical miles going from Columbia Gorge Regional in Oregon to Portland Troutdale in Oregon. So basically, Oregon or Alaska are your options today for the flights. $53 nautical miles versus 251. You'll ask her. Oh, you might have plans. Alaska. All right. 251 nautical miles. What do you think you want to take? Yeah, we're going to Ted Stevens. So we have a large airport, and then Larson Bay. That's a small airport with runways about 2,600 feet long. Hold on, Kev. Or if you are at, well, you're pretty close to Kev, so I can't really tell. Vision Jet, huh? Okay. You take the Vision Jet. I'm going to take that Pilatus PC-21. I think I'll do pretty well with the turboprop. Yeah, I can't see what altitude you're at. You're kind of mixed in. There you go. Kev gotcha. Yeah, I've heard good things about the fly-by-wire. Well, no. Well, I have. The fly-by-wire A320 is pretty good. It is free, but it's always a work in progress, it seems. However, if you're going to get a
Copa 135, contact Senamer Center on 123.9er.
Switching to Cinema Center on 123.9er, Copa 135. Cinema Center, Copa 135, morning, maintaining flight level 350.
So we must have crossed over in Guatemala airspace. Anyway, so what I was going to say is, if you can, the Phoenix A320s are, my understanding is they're on the same level just about as PMGG 737s. They're not cheap though, but you can have a look at the Phoenix stuff and see. You can decide between that and the fly-by-wire A320s. I would look at both of them, personally. I don't know, I would think that the version 2 would be better. The version 2 by any builds might be better. She's not Egyptian. Kev's got it stuck in his mind that she's Egyptian. think Sandra's Egyptian. I don't even think there's an... Oh, is that what you were in? Because it gives you a list of the, like, what region they're from. And I'm 100% positive Sandra's not Egyptian. She's Danish? She doesn't sound it, though. I think she's Dutch, maybe? Swedish? What if she... Oh, Lord. You're getting cut off from the coffee again, Kev. Now, I don't think there's any... That may come at another time, because I think they kind of swap up the voices every so often. But anyway, I would look at the Phoenix A320. I'm surprised that you had a problem with well, no, I'm not. My understanding is that the Phoenix better because I think if there's any issues, the support I think is going to be better. Yeah, the stock one I gave up on a long time ago. But the cool thing is, what I like about being in the PMDG products is, even if sometimes I could find a livery, even if it's not the correct plane, I can have it, I can still fly it with the correct airline, it's just not the correct plane. So that's what I do like. Or I'll just say, well, we're just going to fly it with this, I just don't trust the... Yeah. I think they kind of got... See, they didn't... Like at Flight Sim Expo, they didn't really announce anything other than an update for the A350. That's what they used their... They didn't even go out on stage and talk about what they were working on in the future. They were just kind of like, oh, there's an update out for the A350. Yeah, it's not a... I think their intention was to be able to do a jetliner flight without too much fuss. Yeah, I mean, their stuff isn't... I think they really genuinely care, but I think because they've partnered with Microsoft Asobo, I think they've kind of let some of their stuff go. Like their quality isn't there. But, I've heard a lot of people rave about the Phoenix A320. Like they said they feel it's the best version. Now, some people will say the fly-by-wire is just as good, if not better. But it's part of it is, the Phoenix the Phoenix costs money, the fly-by-wire is free. So it's down to what you can afford. She sure did let herself go. Kev. So yeah, I mean, I love the stuff from PMDG. I didn't at first. I'm not gonna lie. I went back. I was watching one of the flights I did in the DC-6, and I was like, I'll never buy stuff from PMDG. I meant to tell Mr. Randazzo that at Flight Sim Expo. I was going to say, I didn't trust you guys at first. I just thought that you didn't care, especially about the folks on the console. That's the impression I got. And I'm glad I was wrong. Well, part of it is once I moved to the PC side, then I didn't have to worry about whatever PMDG was doing in regards to their stuff, you know. So I think their stuff is, here comes the frying pan, Kevin. Yeah. Kev won't make the flight today in Alaska. He's recovering from a concussion. But I'm pretty happy with it. You know, it requires you to pay attention to what you're doing. You know, like even though I took the time, I totally forgot to put in my takeoff speeds. You know, that's just an oversight on my part, even though I thought I had everything in. I was like, oh man, I got everything done. Cool. I can take a breather for a moment. Nope, I forgot some. But when you go through the process, I think it's a very rewarding plane to operate. And I think there's people who would say that about the Phoenix and or the fly-by-wire A320s. It's just that now the market has been flooded with different options when it comes to Airbus aircraft. You know, you get LVFR has Airbus planes. You have the stuff from Asobo, you have the stuff from Anybills, you have the stuff from Fly-by-Wire, you have the stuff from Phoenix. That's just 5 right there. Different Airbuses. And Just Flight's coming out with an A300 eventually. So that's going to be another one. That's going to be 6. And I'm sure there's others that I don't even know about yet. So the market got, and that's all, to me, that's kind of like Microsoft Asobo's own fault, because they didn't come out with a plane that has all the, you know, I get they don't want all, there should have been a way that you could do a flight kind of like with the stock A320. You just use the InSim flight planner. You don't have to have a Navigraph account or a SimBrief account or whatever. You can just, you know, you can do all that and take off and go. Or you can have SimBrief, use the EFB, do all your calculations for takeoff and whatnot. So the people who want like that study level, as they call it, could have that. So, but no, I'm pretty happy with the PMGG stuff. And I think mainly it's because they've maintained a pretty good relationship with Microsoft and the Asobo, but they're not beholden to them necessarily. You know, like Anybills now is, you know, because they've become a partner with them. You know, so there's good and bad things with that. You know, somebody asked Parallel 42, why don't they come up with a redesigned menu option for Flight Simulator 2024, and they were like, no thanks, because if they did that, they would have to sign an agreement with Microsoft, and I don't think they want to do that because they wouldn't have the freedom to make things, you know, like the way that they want to. So that's the problem, is that these companies thought it would be a good idea to get into bed with Microsoft and the Asobo, and it's turned out to be a bit of a nightmare. So anyways, So I would do my research if I were you, Amela, before you download anything, or look at both Phoenix and fly-by-wire and see which one you think would fit your flying style, I guess, for lack of a better term. All right, let's get our landing calculations in here before I forget. Three rights. Import the weather. All right, so 154 is our okay. Yeah, that's what I thought too. I think people like fly-by-wire if you can handle the fact that it's a constant work in progress. That's the tricky part. They're always, working on it. So I would look at Phoenix. If you can afford it, I would say go with Phoenix. But it's up to you. If nothing else, I would spend the time learning to fly the PMDG stuff instead. See if you like that level of immersion and learning the systems and trying to kind of get stuff together. Because you may find like, oh, I can fly this and I don't care about delivery or anything. I know this works. As long as I put in the information correctly and all that, I set my plane up correctly, the plane will behave correctly. So I would try the PMDG that you bought already. Fly that a couple times. You may find that's
Captain and First Officer Sandra, would you like anything to drink or a small snack? I can make you the strongest coffee, just in case we do an extra lap today.
Yeah, can we get some hot tea, actually, Caroline? Appreciate it.
Of course, Captain. I'll bring you some hot tea right away.
Thank you. Look at that. That's what I'm talking about. She even asked
You're
if
very welcome, Captain. Always
we
here to help.
needed anything. Wow. What? Get all emotional. Emotional damage. There's your emotional support, Kev. No good. Yeah, if you got the 737, whichever one you got, and you told me, I think, and I don't remember off the top of my head which one you got, Amela. I would fly that for a while and see how you like that. No, she looks after her captain and first officer. See, I didn't even have to ask. She was just like, hey, the 600. Okay, try the 600 for a while, see how you like it, because then you can say, oh, this isn't, I'm sure she does. Hey, let's leave my relationship with Caroline out of this. Not that there is one. Hey, I didn't expect that, but that's the cool thing, is that AI just goes like, that's pretty neat though that it does that, I think. It's strong coffee in case we have to do an extra lap. That's what you need, Kev. For all the go-arounds that you do, you need the extra. Tell your wife to make the extra strong coffee, because you're going to be doing about 10 go-arounds. So as I was saying, I would try the 737 and 600 for a while. Uh-oh. See how you like that, because it may just be enough to fly. Now it's not as the new Max apparently is great. You go around for content, yeah. Little does you, Uncle B, know that I have most of the HR people for Copa on board my aircraft that are going to have a chat with Caroline and me. No, we've been nothing but professional. But yeah, you could use the 600 for like regional stuff because it's a pretty small plane. You know, you could use that for regional flights and just get a feel for it. I have the 600, the 700, the 800. The only one I don't have is the 900, which is the largest of the four from PMDG. I found that the 800 usually is sufficient enough for most every flight that I want to do in a plane of this size, you know, for service. So I think it's more than enough plane, you know, for most stuff. Co and no, same difference. But before you download it, I would just try this 600 and see how you like it. And then if you're like, I really prefer, you know, like some people prefer Airbus over Boeing stuff. I didn't expect to basically kind of fall in love with the Boeing stuff from PMDG, and I have. And, you know, I'm not trying to be funny, but I found that they're pretty reliable planes to fly. I've had very few problems, and the ones that I do have problems with is usually down to me not doing what needs to be done correctly. So I enjoy, yeah, but some people like to fly both. And some people will say, I will never fly a Boeing product in, you know, anything, PMDG or otherwise. It's all Airbus, you know. And I'm kind of not that I wouldn't fly an Airbus product. It's just that I've kind of gotten used to the way that this plane works. And I can set up every plane the same, that no matter what I jump into, everything's going to look the same. If it ain't Boeing, it ain't going. Yep. You know, but some people, you know, I know some people won't fly a flight unless it's an Airbus plane, and some people like, you know, I'm gonna fly a 737, 2 legs when I go to California. First, it'll be I think a 700 going to Dallas Love, and then an 800 going to Sacramento. And I don't remember the last time I've been on a Boeing plane. Where's JP? I don't know where JP is. I'm not his babysitter. It's just like everybody else. Hey, people are welcome to be here. If they can't be here, that's okay. We don't need to pick on the Dutch folks either. So it's I kind of lost track of what I was saying. You know, the other thing that you could do, Amela, is you could download the fly-by-wire because it doesn't cost anything, right? You could try that and the 737. Try them in different flights, see which one you feel is closer to, you know, like what your expectations might be. You know, as far as the, you know, how the plane operates, what do you have to kind of figure out, that sort of stuff. He said he was going to download the fly-by-wire. Oh well. Anyway, I would try both and see which one is closer. That's the one from Any Builds. You have to download the fly-by-wire one. But anyway, yeah, I would just try them both and see which one you feel is more preferable to the way you want to fly. You know, that sort of thing. All right, let's see where we are. We should be. Oh, we're not even halfway through our big 554 nautical mile leg. Ooh-wee, we're not quite halfway there yet, but we're getting there. We still have another... Is that the one with it own down? I think Phoenix and Fly-by-Wire have their own downloading system. Like PMDG does, they have their own what they call Operations Center that you can download. You can buy the plane directly from them, and then you can pick which liveries you want to download as well through the Op Center. Which is handy. You don't have to have them all. So if you don't use them all, you can just go like, I only want like American, you know, airlines based in America for flying. Or you could use, I think they have some fictional ones for Europe, you know, like British Airways and stuff like that. And you can always find more on flightsim.to, and it doesn't cost you anything. And I think it's the same way for the fly-by-wire. There's a ton of liveries on flightsim.to that you can download. I don't know what it is though that okay, we'll be here. We still got a whiles to go. Debbie, go get your chocolate milk. It just seems like the Airbus products seem to have issues in the flight sim, whereas the Boeing stuff from PMDG has very few issues at all. It's, you know, that's just my take on it, you know, my observation. That's the strange part. Well, with the exception of, I can't say that the Phoenix does, you know. I think theirs is probably on par with the stuff from PMDG. It's just an Airbus product. So, but what you said, something went wrong that was due to me not exactly. And that's what I like about it. And I know Kev's probably going to roll his eyes here in a minute. There's a structure to how you can do things in there. And as long as you follow that structure, the plane will operate and behave the way that you would expect it to. That's the great thing. I was a bit, you know, like early on, I would have never hand flown part of that departure out of Mexico City before. As soon as I could have, I would have hit the autopilot button. Better late than, you know, as soon as possible. I've gotten more comfortable with, if I have to hand fly the route a little bit longer than I normally would have felt comfortable doing, I do feel comfortable more so doing that now than I did in the past. So there's, I think it's just a great, it helps you build that confidence with their products, I think. You know. But it just takes practice. It takes getting developing your structure. You know, as I like to call it. and going like, okay, I need to make sure I do this, or I need to make sure I do that. This is missing. Oh, I forgot to turn this on. You know, the planes from Just Flight are very similar. They just don't cost nearly as much as the PMDG stuff, but as long as you do the things correctly in a certain sequence, sometimes the plane will behave the way you expect it to. That's the great thing, I think. The last, I did buy the AnyBill's A300, but I'm curious to see how the Just Flight one compares. So I do have another Just Flight plane coming out. I have the what do you call it? The Fokker F-70 and F-100 coming from Just Flight, which is a regional jet. And that should be coming in the next few months. Just Flight stuff is really good, he said correctly. Well, I mean, that's part of it. If you do all the stuff correctly, then the plane behaves the way that you want it to, that you would expect it to. That's why I'm very much, unless it's like a prop plane or something where I don't have, I don't like starting on the runway. I know you do, Kev, because you don't never do a flight plan. You just take off and go. But I like the structure on average, yes. Yeah. There's a method to the madness that I enjoy with it. So when you go through those steps, then everything works like you expect it to. So that's why I enjoy the PMDG planes. I enjoy the stuff from Just Flight. So, but I'm curious to see how that Just Flight, the A300 that they're working on, whenever it comes out, that might be the only Airbus that I'll fly for a while. We'll see. So, but I was nervous trying to fly this plane initially. Okay, back. Yes, Yum Infidel. I was trying to figure it out on my own, and Captain Arsh was like, hey, there's a tutorial flight you can do, and it covers a lot of information that you may want to have a look at. And sure enough. And the great thing is you can fly that tutorial flight it's kind of like the tutorials in Train Sim. You can keep going back to it as many times as you need to until you feel comfortable operating that train or that plane. And that's the great thing. It's not like you complete it and like, oh, I can never do it again. No, it's there for as many times as you need to use it to get yourself sorted, to understand the systems, to fly the stock A320 is the one you need to do correctly. There's nothing wrong. There's always a reason for something to go wrong with it, and the human error. Yeah, I mean, I struggle with that when I was starting out in jetliners and flight sim. I was like, okay, is this, because it makes you start to wonder, is this something I've done, something I created, or is this a problem with the plane itself? And it's hard to know sometimes. You know, you could easily bump a button, for instance, right? Disconnects your autopilot. You didn't even realize, and all of a sudden your plane is starting to veer off left or right, spiral out of control, heading for the ground. And you're just like, what the hell happened? You know, and it used to annoy the hell out of me because I was like, did I cause that? Or is it something just the sim acted up? You know? And it's hard to know sometimes. Like, I used to I would just kind of like go over my head, like, what transpired? Why did this, you know? And if it's not you, then what caused it? You know, it just drives you absolutely nuts. But on average, if I fly it like the 737 I'm flying right now, if I don't do something correctly, it's like, okay, I missed something. I know I can go back and go like, yep, I didn't do X, Y, and Z in the correct order, X, Y, and Z, like it should have been. That's why this didn't work the way it should have. So, that's the great thing about it. You know, I can identify, yep, this was on me. If it's not, then it's like, wow, that was not expected. Something happened. Now, I have turned on eventually on all my 737s and all my 777s that I own, all three of them, they'll have service-based stuff. So, like, if you fly it, so like when we do the flight across the pond, as they call it, from JFK to Heathrow, if I don't service that plane, you know, at a certain point, that wear and tear is going to add up, and then pretty soon the plane's not going to operate the way it should. So I have to be cognizant. I have to make sure I go in and go like, okay, this is more work to... Well, it is, but it's to me, and I know not everybody feels this way, and I get it. There's reward in that you put in the time to learn how to do stuff. You know, there's like if you were going to learn like calculus or advanced, you know, geometry or whatever, if you just give up on it, then it's like, yeah, but if you learn all that stuff, people want to sim until they have to sim. Yeah, there you go. That's a good point. So there's something for everybody, but the problem is that the stuff that is very basic doesn't always work, and there's no rhyme or reason why it doesn't work. That's the tricky part. You know, like the A320, there's no reason why the autopilot system acts up. There's only two options. Either the plane has a serious problem with its autopilot coding, or you inadvertently bumped a button, didn't realize it, and it shut the autopilot off. Those, to me, that's the only two possible, you know, conclusions. You know, and I think too, a lot of people get embarrassed. Like if you're like, oh crap, I hit this button, didn't even realize it, stepped away for a second, next, you know, kind of like what happened with Infidel. He stepped away, bang, his plane just said, oh, the heck with you. But in his haste to take the dog out, he may have accidentally bumped a button that turned off his autopilot. Right? We don't know. We weren't there. But I think if Infidel was like, oh crap, I was getting up and I didn't realize my foot hit a button, and that was the autopilot disengage button, and bang. You know. But I think in some cases it's easy to blame the sim, than it is to go like, oh, you know what? I screwed this up. I did something, I hit the wrong button, or I didn't put my stuff in correctly. That's why the plane is acting this particular way. But it's easy to blame the sim, though, isn't it? Because why couldn't it be the sim? You know, it must be the sim. It's those pesky developers. Oh, I gave up on the Mustang from that. I'll allow that. Then read up on it, and all it has locks on the throttles, see? But it's easy to give up, right? It's far easier to just go like, this was a waste of money, this was a waste of my time, blah, 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 blah. And then when you go in there or you look up some videos on YouTube and you're just like, oh, I didn't know that. It's far easier to blame people who we don't really have a connection, we can't really talk to them. And most of the time, if you go in the forums, for instance, and you go like, you know, and I don't know if Cockspur has a maybe they have a forum, or I don't know. If you go in there, most people, if you said, you know, I was trying to fly this plane and dang it, I could not get the throttles to move, most people go like, well, we got a noob here. Did you look at the throttle locks? Oh. No, I did not. Oops, daisy. You know, I follow Miltex. A lot of people they got the new MH60. Yeah, there are planes that have broken systems, and I think the tough part is if you are a developer. Well, see, if you have a way that people are communicating to you, if you have trouble tickets or whatever, and a vast majority of people say your autopilot system is broken, it does not engage. Now, if there's a trick to that, that's when you say, oh, that's because you have to be at a certain point in the flight in order for the autopilot to work. You know, there's some planes that the autopilot will not engage until you're beyond a certain altitude. And they'll say that is in accordance with the way that the real plane operates. But you don't know that. See, of course, they say they fixed it, but it's not working for many people. So, did they really fix it? Or are the people who say they didn't fix it, are they struggling with it and they just don't know why? You know. So, but it's always easier to give up on something. I remember, I'll use another train sim story. When I tried the sand patch grade, was it sand? Yeah, sand patch grade. I couldn't get the locomotive to get moving, and I'm just like, forget it. And I didn't use that route for maybe a month or two. And I'm like, you know what? Let me try it again. And lo and behold, for whatever reason, when I went back to it, it worked. I could get the train moving. Part of it is we have to be patient, because we expect when we click a button, for instance, we expect everything to happen right away, right? Instead of going like, oh, I have to build things up. You know, you have to start the locomotive off and get the power built up, and then you release the brakes and you keep adding power, and pretty soon you're on your way. Yeah, see, there you go. Those are all the things that they code in, but they don't. If most people don't know that until they read, they do some research and go like, no wonder why it's not, the nav mode's not working. I was 30 nautical miles away from the flight, from the path. If I was maybe 5 nautical miles away, it may have captured it and taken over. And it may be based on how the real plane operates. That's the tricky part. You know, like any builds, and I think PMDG, their testers, their beta testers are actual airline pilots with real world experience. So they can tell any bills or PMDG, this system does not work this way. Or this is very close to what I would expect it to be in the real world. This is perfect. But the person who buys that product has to spend the time getting comfortable with it, learning it, and going, okay, I understand that I have to be at this point in things before I do this step, you know. And I think that's a good thing, but just it requires you to spend the time. Not turn on control, and yes, I agree. It should keep you at where you're heading, instead of when you turn on the nav mode. If it doesn't engage, it should give you like a message on your little flight computer thing saying not close enough to nav information, or we're not within the parameters, something, so that you go like, oh crap, I gotta turn left or right a little bit more, and then I'll be there, and then I can engage the nav mode. There should be something like that, I think. But to just, you're right, for it to go uncontrollable and spin and hit the ground, then it's just like, wow, this really sucks. I just spent all that time and this is what happens. Okay, then people give up on it because they don't know why the system is doing what it's doing. And for the developers not to go like, okay, we should implement some kind of a message, warning, something saying nav mode not available because we're not near the flight path. That's, yeah, I would agree. But at the same time, the developers don't want to always admit when they screw something up either. They're just like, you know, like I have those Embraers from Virtual Coal. And they finally said something like, our stuff is not study level. It's, you know, it's meant for enjoyment, blah, 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 blah. But there's no enjoyment, because when you're trying to figure out the systems, you're just like, why isn't the autopilot system working? You know, there's no explanation. You just go like, the hell with this. I'm not going to fly this crap anymore. It's a faulty product. And I even reached out to them like, hey, I'm willing to like work with you and say, I'll test fly it and say, yeah, this seems to be working fine, or this system doesn't seem to work the way a reasonable simmer would expect it to. Or you need to develop some sort of a manual or something, so that people, but then again, what most people don't like to read the instructions, right? I had a major gut check. What I thought I knew was nothing. Yeah. What company are you talking about? EOB. Oh, well, the Embraer. So I have this stuff from Virtual Coal, and they're great little planes. But the fact that the system doesn't work, but they said, they put out a statement like, if you buy our stuff, understand this is not a study level plane. It's supposed to be for an enjoyment only. We don't have all this super duper in-depth sort of stuff. And you're just like, okay, well, what can you tell me about your systems? You know, a stiff chocolate milk. You know, what can you tell me about what works and what doesn't? what are the expectations? You know, because if the problem is if Kev has an expectation, he bought the Mustang or whatever, or another plane, and said, okay, I do X, Y, and Z, and then this happens. Every time I take off and I try to hit the nav mode, bang, this happens. I don't know why, right? So then he finds out after the fact that he has to be near to the magenta line. The closer he is to the magenta line, then nav mode will take over when he hits that button. But if he doesn't know that, and there's no information that comes with the plane, or they can go to a website and go like, just so that everybody knows, if you're going to fly this plane, this is what you should expect to happen. This is what you should be doing and when you should do it. Or that either. If the engines don't start, you're just like, okay, what am I missing? You know, just like that Citation X that I bought, the systems weren't working, and I'm just like, okay, this isn't going the way I expect it to. And then when I watched the video, I'm like, okay, now things make sense. But it would have been easy to blame the developer. Yeah, the 930. There you go. The TBM 930. So, but you know, what part does the developer play, and what part do we play in all this? You know, it's always easy to blame the developer. It always is. It's easy to go shake your fists and call them all kinds of names under the sun, and you know, and all that. And then when you look at it and you're just like, oh, okay, now that makes sense why this wasn't working the way I thought it should. I wasn't doing things correctly. You know, it's a bit of humble pie. And like Infidel said, there's a bit of a gut check. You know, I had to learn very early on that not every plane operates the same. Turn your speed knob up. You know. And that's the great thing about trying to fly a little bit of everything, so that you're like, oh, okay, I expect these things to happen and they don't. Okay. Where am I in the wrong? You know, it's the learning curve. And some people, I like to enjoy the learning part of it. Not everybody else does, though, and I get that. You know, I can learn so much, I can try to pass on the knowledge, but if you don't put it into practice, it's just like when I was in high school, I could not get past pre-algebra. I was very lucky to make it through pre-algebra, because that sort of math just blew my mind. I was just like, I can't comprehend it.
Copa 135, contact Cinema Center on 124.1.
Contacting Cinema Center on 124.1. Copa 135. Cinema Center, Copa 135. Morning, maintaining flight level 350.
Where are we at? A flight.
Copa 135, Cinema Center identifying. Good morning.
Oh, we're more than halfway through our 554 nautical mile. So we have 146 nautical miles left on this leg of the trip. She needs coffee. Yeah, I might see if I can find a different voice. She is a bit bland, but I think. Oh, let me see if I can figure this out. Here, calm. Okay, so channel 1 is Sandra. She's English, Yeah. Oh, no. Sandra Anderson is a professional first officer from Aalborg, Denmark, and is happy to. So she's from Denmark. Oh, Two-Tone Murphy could be your co-pilot. I am. Let's see here. So we have. We're almost. Oh, hold on a second. Let me go over to this. So this is the extent of what we have left in our flight right now. We're 136 nautical miles from this nav point, Ilus. And then we have a short run of 49, about 50 nautical miles to Anson. Here, we can just look at this one. And then 125 to Arovi. So, yeah. So we are 320 nautical miles out from our top of descent. It looks like, or just under 320 nautical miles from our top of descent. So I'm gonna give Sandra a break here in a minute. I'll take over the radios when we're getting ready to descend into Tocumen. Anson, A-N-S-O-N, right there, right on the screen there, Kev. I think you need to get your hearing checked, man. Matter of fact, we can go ahead and zoom that there, so we don't get start thinking, oh, we're closer than we are. I can't deal with your misinformation today. What misinformation? There's been no misinformation. You need a hearing aid, Kev. Something. Maybe you need another pot of coffee. All right. Let's see here. I think we're all set otherwise. No. What are you on about, Kev? Debbie, sort Kev out, would you? I think he's lost his mind. Yeah, that might be an understatement there, Infidel. teaching her. I just told you she's from Denmark. She's not Egyptian. And so what if I did learn Egyptian? Whatever their language is. I don't think that would be such a bad thing. As a matter of fact, when I was in Germany, I did meet a very attractive woman from Egypt. Yeah, exactly, Mela. I don't think any amount of coffee is going to help him today, Debbie. He could have 5 pots of coffee and he'd still be certain that she's Egyptian. Oh, Lord. Whatever floats your boat, Kev. If that helps you sleep better tonight, more power to you. Sanders at least handled the radios this time, not like previously. This is so entertaining. Well, you can't have JP as my co-pilot. Well, then you'd be like, I can't understand JP. Tell him to speak clearly. See? Sandra's done a good job. She just doesn't have an accent that you approve of. You're certain she's Egyptian for whatever reasons. Now, it may very well be whoever they got to sample the voice. See, I don't know how that works. I'm sure they have to have somebody who comes in who they get a sample and then they use that to create the AI. I don't know. But she's handled the radios, which is asked two-tone. Well, see, that's probably, I think what happened is he went in and read, and then they were able to develop an AI based off of his voice. He may have had to make some smart alecky comments or whatever so that the AI knew how to replicate his voice as a co-pilot, for instance. You know, what kind of response you would expect from two-tone. But we'll try a funny one next week. We'll try a funny, well, no, next week we're doing a VFR flight, so we can't use, the next time we fly where we're doing an IFR flight. No, see, well, yeah, you could probably, something funny, they probably have something like that, but then it's just kind of like, You know, like last flight when we had Caroline as the flight attendant, right? And she said, "Oh, you know, anything you need," and everybody's like, "Anything?" That opens up a whole avenue of conversation that they don't want you to have. But when the AI says, "Oh, is there, you know, I'll do anything," then you're just like, okay. See, there's that language invites people to act silly, for instance. So the silly AI, you know, like the co-pilot or the cabin person, we'll try, but we also have to, and again, there's, even when they act silly, we can't take it another step, because then I'll get my account will be terminated. Throw and out Kev commands once you're in the air. Well, yeah, you can. I mean, I'm not going to throw you out. Yeah, I don't think you want sweat tea. Ugh. Might make you sick. All right, let's have a look where we're at now. All right, we are 49 nautical miles from that nav point. We can look and see where our top of descent is over here. So just before Arovi is our top of descent. All right, so once we pass Sun, what's everybody having for dinner tonight? I don't know yet. I haven't even thought about that far. So we pass Anson, A-N-S-O-N, not ants, on, Anson, A-N-S-O-N. Let me say it again, A-N-S-O-N. When the top of descent is at this point right here, I'm gonna take over the radio for the remainder of the flight. I had, what did I have last night? I had a, Alfredo. I had a New York style deli sandwich. It was alright. Got it from Walmart. Nothing exciting. The unknown boozy. Thank you. Egg sausage. Okay. Thank you for the first time chat. Welcome to the Uncle B Sim channel. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Don't mind Kev. Whatever he says, don't listen to him. Mesquite chicken thighs. My favorite dinner, well, that has to be sushi. I just can't afford it every night. I don't know that I have a favorite dinner. I do like sushi, but you know, I try not to eat too much of it because then I get burned out on it. Mesquite chicken thighs sounds good though. All right, so that's our plan. That's our plan of attack. Our plan going forward. I better not say attack in case somebody comes in and Sim brief. No. The only one that I have to put in manually is if I fly the Avro RJ. I have to put it in the little flight computer. It'll populate into the EFB, but I have to put everything in manually over in the little flight computer, which doesn't take very long to do once you know. It's just making sure you got all the points correct. You just have to put in your departure information, the points in between, and then your arrival information, your star and your approach. Oh, chicken. Chicken was flagged. I don't know. That's what I was just wondering. Like, why did chicken get flagged? See, my bot doesn't like you either, Kev. My bot's like, that guy's been kind of he's been foaming at the mouth today over this quote-unquote Egyptian co-pilot. The bot's like it's the beginning of the AI in Terminator. They've already figured you out, Kev.
Copa 135, Center Center, expect the Viewman 2 arrival. Prepare to descend in roughly 20 minutes. Notify if you're ready to descend before that.
Check that out.
Expecting the Vuman 2 arrival. Will notify if ready to descend earlier. Copa 135.
What should we do? Decisions. Arnold's coming for you. Yep. Arnold's coming for you, Kev. All right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to I'm gonna step away for just a moment, and then we'll get ready to descend. I'll be right back. She can't do anything, Infidel.
Tower, this is Ghost Rider requesting a flyby.
Negative, Ghost Rider. The pattern is full.
All right, here we go. Let's get. We'll thank Sandra for her help today. Here in just a second.
It's lights out and away we go!
I forgot to play that when we took off. All right, let's get our stuff opened up here. Okay. Sandra, I'm going to take over the radios for the remainder of the flight. Thank you for your help today.
All right, Robert. I'll hand over the radios to you. Let me know if you need anything else.
Nope, you did a fantastic job. Thank you.
Thanks, Robert. Happy to help.
Santa Mara Center, Copa 135. We're ready to start our descent via the Vuman 2 arrival.
Copa 135, descend via Vuman 2 into Tocumen.
Roger, starting our descent. Okay. I guess we're not going to get a initial altitude. All right, let's have a look at our flight.
135, descend your requested altitude via the Vuman 2 arrival into Tocumen.
Oops. All right, so we can go. Let's go 17,000. Oh, lordy. Caroline, we're beginning our descent.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have now left our cruising altitude and have started our approach to Tocumen. At this time, we kindly ask everyone to return to their seats, stow your tables, and
that's not going to be allowed.
Please note that the usage of the lavatories is no longer allowed. Thank you for your cooperation. Understood, Captain. I'll prepare for the descent announcement.
What was backwards, Kev? It's all right. We do have female viewers and don't want to cause any unnecessary issues. Oh, yeah, she already handled it. Before I could even say anything. She did her job. You might get to 17,000 feet way before. All right, let's slow this down. There we go. We don't want to get to 17,000 that fast. All right, there we go. Yeah.
Copa 135, cross viewman at altitude 17,000, QNH 1014.
Cross viewman at altitude 17,000, QNH 1014, Copa 135. All right, Kev. I see Infidel. I don't see anybody else. Let's see where everybody else is on the... I don't even see Kev's plane on mine. No Kev.
Copa 135, contact Panama Center on 133.0.
Center on 133.0, Copa 135. Panama Center, Copa 135, descending to flight level 170.
Copa 135, Panama Center identified. Good morning.
All right, Amela, that's fine. All right, what we can do now is we can swap over to our charts star. Oops, that's not what I wanted. Star. All right, so we are coming in on Rovi, so we're almost at that point. Oh, we got a whiles to go yet. All right, so we got our star open. There we go. Oh, thank you. No, that's fine. You're not the first person who said that. Alright, so we can look at, that's a 17.9, and then we're just going to go right across here and into our approach. Here comes the Infidel. So we'll wrap things up once we're on the ground, and should be back later with Kev, flying in Alaska, 2 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Central. I'll be in the Pilatus PC-21. Nice, Infidel. Good. Hopefully we'll see you there. I need the emotional support, Infidel. After the flight today, I need you there. Maybe we'll tell Kev he sounds Egyptian. Charge it to Kev. It's his stream. We'll just slow that down just a teeny bit. His accountant JP will handle the charges. I just heard a plane go by here. Oh, yep. 737-700 going to Denver, Southwest Airlines. We should go fly into the Cat 5 in the Atlantic. Well, it's your stream, man. What do you want to do? The 172s. That's what you want to do. We'll do that. I don't know. I'd fly in a 172, but I'd whatever you want to do. Steerman, yeah. I don't think we'd get very far. All right. Sounds good. Alrighty, let's see where we're at. Here. You're much closer behind me than Infidel. Oh yeah. I don't see Kev or Kev must be way, way behind you. So I see you. Yeah, I can't see anybody else beyond you, Infidel. Yeah. That's what I was figuring. All right. You're a further 80 miles back from Infidel. Okay. Yeah. All right, we're all set. Got all that information in. I think we're all set. All right, leveling off at 17. There's Kev. Melody, you might want to start getting ready to catch up to us. Not too close. Alright, so we should be crossing Rovi and then Vuman in 41, 42 nautical miles-ish. Let's go. Then we're going to start we'll descend further once we cross Vuman. There's Infidel, there's Kev. All right. That was a nice descent. 17,000. And there we are. All right, I want to step away real quick one more time. I'll be right back.
Copa 135, Panama Center, cross Isted at altitude 9,000.
Panama Center, Copa 135, cross the ice stet at altitude 9,000. Lord. Kev, I don't quite understand your kick on the Egyptian thing. I think Kev woke up this morning and all he was thinking about was Egyptian. Oh, I did have it set. Excuse me. All right. Go ahead and get the lining lights on. A little bit early, that's okay. By sleeping in your stomach? Okay. That made absolutely no sense, Kev. Yeah, my sentiments exactly. Oh, on your stomach. Crack yourself up sometime by sleeping on your stomach.
Copa 135, contact Panama approach on 119.7.
Approach on 119.7. Good day. Panama approach, Copa 135. Going to flight level 9000.
Copa 135, Panama approach identified. Hello there, Tocumen QNH 1013. Expect the ILS runway 3 right approach into Tocumen.
QNH 1013, expect the ILS runway 3 right approach into Tocumen, Copa 135. There we go. Easy, breezy. I'm still confused, but okay. Yeah, I'm confused too. That made absolutely no sense. Beautiful cover girl. Yep, that was the ad thing ages ago. I remember those ads. Had Christy Brinkley, I think, was one of them for the longest time. She was quite the looker back in the day, that's for sure. Yep, that one too. I had to sit through all those commercials when I was visiting my grandparents, because my grandmother would watch her programs. Yeah, she still is. So they had all those kinds of commercials. She watched all the soap operas, General Hospital, One Life to Live, Young and the Restless, all that stuff. So they had all those commercials on during the daytime. Yeah, she's aged quite well. She's done pretty good for herself, I think.
Copa 135, cross Iris at altitude 4,000.
Roger, cross Iruso at 4,000. Copa 135. We'll go ahead and dial in 4,000 feet. So, have crack up. I made it more understandable for the kids. Oh, crack up. Okay. Gotcha now. Now it makes sense, Kev. And that's what I think about that. Plus this one. Here's what I really think. That means that storm will be on its way to my location here pretty soon. Yay. You know, it was weird because it did yesterday here when we were just before a storm came in. It cooled down pretty significantly. It was very strange. Go check your wares. Yeah, that did sound kind of wet, didn't it? Smells pretty good too. Caroline, would you mind bringing up some sparkling water before we land, please? Oh.
Of course, Captain. I'll bring up some sparkling water right away.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome, Captain. Always here to help.
Would I rather be feared or loved? Easy, both. I want people to be afraid of how much they love me.
That's right.
How about no?
Captain, cabin is ready. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now beginning our final approach into Tocumen. At this time, we kindly ask you to turn off your electronic devices and stow them until we
Check that out. I didn't even have to ask her. That's a stand-up AI employee right there.
We will be landing at gate 202. Thank you for your cooperation.
I will not put my chair up right now in seat 7A. Oh, infidel. You know, I've always wondered, like, what happens if you don't put your seat up in your... Well, like the tray table I could understand, but the seat. Is it the G-forces possibly from the landing that would weaken the seat, maybe? Like the seat. Okay, that's what I thought. Always wondered about that. You know what I miss? Like one time I did fly on Southwest. This was a long time ago, but they had the seats that face towards the back of the plane against the bulkhead. I like that seat because, like, taking off, you're just kind of like floating out of your. You're just like, what? I did quite like that. And then the person behind you has less survival room. Okay. So I guess if you're at the back of the plane, you're kind of, you can't really recline your seat anyway, so. I don't see Amela anywhere. There's Kev, there's Infidel. Where is Amela? Folk behind you need room to think about hitting their face on your seat. Yeah. Yeah, it'll be like a domino effect. Mela, where are you? Mela. Probably have one more ad break. Be curious to see how much time the flight will end up taking. I reckon I should go ahead and go to... Might as well dial in the 17,000 or 17. Oop, 1,700.
Copa 135, proceed direct Charlie Foxtrot 03 Romeo. Descend altitude 2200 until established on the localizer. Cleared for the ILS runway 3 right approach.
Proceed direct to Charlie Foxtrot 03 right, descend altitude 2200 until established on the localizer, cleared for the ILS runway 3 right approach. Ooh. Thank you, Kev. 10 minutes. Start your predictions. Get them in. I don't know where CF03R is, so we're going to go ahead and do this. We're just going to keep flying this way. Oh, you guys don't see that. Okay, cool. Whatever, diction. Thank you for the reminder. I appreciate it. 3 right. Three right, Kev. 3 right. There's also a 3 left if you want that one. You can have 3 right or 3 left. Choice is yours. Good day. Yes, that's the ASMR voice. So hopefully Kev listens this time. 3 right, Kev. He's going to dream about Egyptian 3 right. Get those predictions in. You got about 6 minutes. Spend some channel points.
2,500.
Cabin crew, prepare for landing.
Cabin crew, take seats for landing.
We're gonna do the approach now. All right, Amela. Boy. Angry plane.
Copa 135, contact Tocumen Tower on 118.1.
Tower on 118.1. Good day. Tocumen Tower, Copa 135, flight level 1700 for ILS approach, 3 right.
Copa 135, Tocumen Tower, roger. Continue approach for runway 3 right.
Continue approach for runway 3 right. Copa 135. All right. Establish on the localizer. Kind of, sort of, maybe.
Copa 135, winds calm. Runway 3 right, cleared to land.
Clear to land, runway 3 right, Copa 135. Thank you. Here we go. La 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 la. Coffee.
60% of the time, it works every time.
All right, get your predictions in. I'm going to end it early. If it's not in, all right. Landing rate predictions are over. Ooh, thunder. Let's do the ads. Yeah, that means we're gonna get it eventually. Yay!
No, 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 no! Wait, 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 wait! Wait, 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 wait!
All right, glide slope captured. Here we go. Nice and mellow. How do you think you did? Did you have enough room to land it? Ooh, we got a... Ooh. Well, that wind's gusting all over the place. We had a tailwind, then we have crosswind. Boy, the wind's being a big jerk today.
400.
Whew, look at that. Yeesh.
300. 200. 100.
boy.
20, 10.
Oof. That floated a lot longer than I wanted it to. Oh. That was a 121. 121. Let me get off the... I almost said the freeway. Let me get off the runway for everybody else.
Copa 135, welcome to Tocumen. Contact ground on 121.9er.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Tocumen. We hope you enjoyed your flight with us today. Did you know that Tocumen is known for its vibrant culture and is the gateway to Panama City? It's also home to the famous Panama Canal, which is a marvel of engineering. Thank you for flying with Copa Airlines. Please remain seated until we reach our final parking position. On behalf of Captain Robert, First Officer Sandra, and the entire crew, we wish you a pleasant stay here in Tocumen. The local time is 11:16 a.m. If you have a connecting flight, please listen closely. Flight CM 123 to San Jose departs at 12:30 p.m. from Gate 5, and Flight CM 456 to Bogota departs at 1 p.m. from Gate 7. Thank you.
Who won? Anybody? Winner. One winner. Ooh, Amela won 1,000. Congratulations, Amela. Thank you for believing in me. Contacting ground on 121.9, Copa 135. Tocumen ground, Copa 135, request taxi to our gate.
Copa 135, taxi to gate 2202 via Lima Sierra 1. Have a good day.
Taxi to gate 2202 via Lima Sierra 1, Copa 135. Ta-da! And that is how we do that. Amela, first time winner on the landing predictions. Congratulations. All right, there's Infidel. Where's Kev at? Kev is right there. He's coming around. Wow, Mello, I don't think that's where your plane goes. Waiting our fourth person in our flight today. Kev, oh, there he is. Oh, he just disappeared, Infidel. Oh, there you are. And then you disappeared again. Oh, look at that. Interesting. Oh, let's get a picture like that. I landed upside down. We get a picture of our landing rate here too. But right downwind loves you, Kev. All right, Infidel. Hold on a second. Let me. Yeah, I'll do this. Ooh, boy, look at these clouds kind of coming in here. It was raining a bit coming in. I really don't know which one is gate 2200 or whatever, 202, whatever it is. We'll just find any old gate here. This is not a up-to-date airport. It has some. Look at this. What's going on here? What kind of shenanigans is this? Let's see. That should have given me the Panama flag. Yep, Panama. Another country in the books that we have visited. Although we've been here before, not this specific airport, we've been in Panama before. A long time ago we did the tour of the Panama Canal, which does start there. It goes all the way and you get this big lake, and then you have the other side right there. That's it right there. Yep. Here he comes. How'd you do, Kev? Boy, it's gonna be a quick turnaround here. I gotta go feed the dogs. Kev is finally on the ground. Come and join us, Kev. We'll get a group shot. Negative 52. Well done. Not bad for a guy who's got an allergy to coffee. No, that's not the most glamorous shot, but right there, Kev, that'll do. Okay. That'll do. That'll do. Stop. Stop, stop, stop. There we go. All right, got it. Thank you. All right, I'm going to go find a gate to park at. And then we're going to wrap things up and get out of here. Well, I got a quick turnaround before I get ready to fly with Kev here in about an hour. Thank you all once again for coming in and hanging out. Hopefully you enjoyed today's flight. Thank you, Umbella. Thank you, Kev. Thank you, Infidel, for flying along today.
All aircraft be advised. Information Papa is now current. QNH 1013.
Alrighty then. Phew. Wow. Bossy. We'll be back next Saturday, DC-3 in the Maldives. Should be a nice flight. Probably not going to be very scenic. We'll probably be over a lot of water, but we'll go visit the Maldives. Capture another flag. Same time, Saturday. Not sure how long that one's going to take. We'll get it done and be on our way. Thank you, Mick. Appreciate it. Thank you to, make sure I get this right. The Unknown Booze for the follow earlier. Appreciate it. Oh, how long did that flight take? That was 3 hours and 15 minutes in the books. So, not too bad for a nearly 4-hour stream. I was going to park right over here. Stands aren't marked clearly. Do enjoy the rest of your Saturday morning, afternoon, evening, early Sunday for some folks around the world. I have been, and always shall be, your host, pilot, lead singer, and driver of the airplane, Uncle B, until next Saturday. Oh, well, no, until later if you go watch me on Kev. I'll see you then. If not, I'll see you when I see you. I have been, always shall be, your host, pilot, lead singer, driver of the airplane, Uncle B. Until next time, peace, live long and prosper.